Hello out there in internet land. It is Tuesday night, 9 o'clock here in Michigan anyway, 9:01. Indie Vote runs on my time. It runs on VT. Varying times. It was actually 9:01, but I'm going to say it's 9 o'clock. And welcome you to the episode of Indie Vote Live Wire. Of course, it's, January 11th. I'm sorry. Or as I like to call it, January or December 31st. Not 41st. I'm sorry. Because I don't feel this 2021 is done yet. You're taking some of my favorite actors, favorite comedians this year, yet people I don't like still walk the freaking earth. I don't get it. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that and some other stuff to get me in trouble because this is Indie Vote and that's what I do. My foot in my mouth. I'm comic books Eminem. I refuse to apologize for anything I say. That's fine though. I'm gonna roll the intro and we'll introduce our panel of guests tonight. We got a lot of them, and it is my mission tonight to make Lloyd's wife laugh. She was way too serious, so I'm gonna make her laugh. Yes, we see you. We see you. You're right there. We see you. So
she left. It's over.
There she goes. All right. Mission accomplished.
You succeeded.
I'm gonna roll the intro, which is set the tone for what type of show this is and the quality and the level of quality of person I am. We will roll the intro. Everybody hang tight. Here we go.
And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands over there.
The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my God, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares. For real. The program is rated TV MA NSFW OMFG GAF TTV BYGAS. Why are you still here? Seriously, don't watch this. We can't warn you strongly enough. Do you need a doctor of some kind? What is the matter with you?
The difference is near. It's a rainbow the masses will hear. In the boat, let the people cheer. In the boat, the bus starts here.
Hello, everybody out there in internet land. It is I, Varian Grant, the founder of Indie Vault Media LLC. Started making comics back in 2008. Can't leave comics alone. The game needs me. And here I am. It's another beautiful Tuesday night. So that must mean it's Indie Vault Live Wire time. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. A lot of questions. We got some great talent here tonight. We are going to be pissing people off tonight because I got a mouth on me today. My own mother, told me to shut up today. Told me I was cantankerous and told me to, go take a nap. I thought like I was a child. I was like, oh, bye, click.
That's an SAT word.
Man, Mama knows
I
best.
was in rare form, guys, and I'll tell you what I said to really, really upset my mother. I'll tell you about it later. And then I am joined as always by the beautiful Indie Princess. Ma'am, how are you this morning? Or this afternoon? Oh shit, it's nighttime now. I'm used to you being on the morning show now.
I'm exhausted. I've been working all day, but I do want to say something to Pale Rider. Welcome, Pale Rider. And there you go.
That's a nice lead. Hey, ratings boost, man. Come on. That's why,
Did you say ratings boost or ratings
That's right.
boost?
That's right. Come look. There's, listen, if we can probably convince her. There's a tip jar. There was a tip jar at one point. To probably never mind. I won't say that. I was gonna say I could have brought baby oil or something. At least they could have glistened, but no. Webcams don't pick up baby oil, by the way. Only actual HD cams do. Oh, be quiet. Indie Princess, are you? I was gonna ask you, by the way, are you going to be? How's the infection on the side of your head? I know that people think that you're cyberpunk right now. She shaved the side of her head because she.
But then I have another one popping up right about here.
Ugh. Blah. Gross. Grody. Ah, damn shame. Well, at least, look, let's keep making the cleavage line lower. Nobody look up there. It'll be great. Dre, how are you today?
Oh man, Varian, I'm feeling good today, brother. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. I go through the intros very quickly, but I gotta stop because I have a cousin who goes by the name of Dre as well. And so
I know a doctor named Dre.
Indeed, I also know a doctor with that name.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought you looked familiar.
We have and we also have Lloyd Jones of Midnight Comics with his wife. How are you guys?
Doing good.
I know, what's your wife's name?
Natasha.
Natasha. Very popular name in comics right now. Everyone acts like they known Black Widow for years. Although I've heard some people who claim they know her call her Natalia before. I'm fake geek, but we got Lloyd, Natasha, and we're gonna talk to them. I already made Natasha laugh, so mission accomplished there. Russell Nohelty is here with us. First time Russell's been on. I didn't even know Russell was gonna be here. He just popped in and scared the shit out of me. Russell, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I always have to scare the shit out of you, Varian.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll make you regret being on the show by the end of it. I promise. And then we have Austin. Austin, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Good to be here. The only place to be tonight, right here.
Oh yeah. The only place that'll have me, obviously. I want to remind everybody that the show is TV, MADLSV. And I'm probably going to use every one of those DLs, the S's, the V's. They should throw a U in there for SVU. I'm telling you, just keep throwing it in there. I'm gonna. So if you guys ever seen the show, the first thing we do is start with questions that we get in our mailbox or sent in through Indie Vote Radio. So I do have some from Indie Vote Radio that was here, but I want to get into a question from you guys. Ratings boost, man. We comics. They are ratings boost, man. To the ratings boost. And this question came from Kelly. And Kelly says, Kelly, I don't want to assume Kelly's gender, but Kelly says, hello, Indie Vote. I was wondering if Randy can tell me, they obviously haven't watched the show in a while because Randy is still recovering from COVID. And we wish Randy, all this, he gets better very quickly. He is getting better, as a matter of fact. Randy update. He is walking. He was able to stand, and he hopes to be home soon. So we look forward to Randy's return. He did come on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I'm gonna clip that and post it so people know that Randy is. He got a chance to come on the show and talk a little bit. He wasn't on camera, but we could hear his voice. Kelly wants to know how to price comics so that they make a profit, and has a problem where they're printing comics and not making much. For my thing about that is you got to be careful because if you're doing print on demand, there's obviously a smaller margin there for making money. Print on demand books, what is it, about $230, $275 for a standard comic, depending on where you're printing through. And if you're trying to sell your book for $3.99, or like I was, and I was a idiot, $2.99, that's a smaller margin for you to make any money on. I mean, remember the shop owners, I was a fool once. The shop owners want 50% off. Mm-hmm. And then if you have a distributor like Diamond, they want another, they're gonna get another, was it 20%, I believe, off of that. So, your margin becomes a lot smaller. So keep that in mind when you're pricing things. But you want to price fairly. The best advice I ever got wasn't for comic. It wasn't Wizard World Comic Con. Wizard used to care about comics. I don't know if you guys knew that. And they used, I shouldn't say that. Jared is a friend of mine. Damn it. He's going to hear about that. Oh, well. Well, he sold the company. Never mind. So anyway, the thing is, they told us that if you have a imagine a shirt that you like, or with your favorite superhero on it, and it's an awesome shirt, and you want it. How much are you willing to pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
And most of it, say 20, 25, maybe $30 for a really cool shirt for a character on it. That's fine. I'll never tell like anybody I paid $30 for a comic book shirt though. Oh, I got it for 15. But he said, okay, now take that. If you put your character on it, cut it in half. And that's how much you sell yours for. I can agree with that, I guess. We had someone say that they refused to I seen someone posted earlier, they're not paying $25 for a standard comic book anymore. And I agree with that. I mean, indie comics are technically usually a little bit more expensive than your run-of-the-mill mainstream books. But I'll turn that over to the panel, let them weigh in on it. I'll start with Dre. Dre, what do you think? I mean, is the price of your books always in your mind when you're printing?
Absolutely. So I go about it in two different aspects. Like you mentioned, Varian, as far as print on demand is concerned, I know that I'm going to get, ultimately, you're getting 25% when it's all said and done if you're doing print on demand. It's going to be whoever's housing, whoever's printing, whoever's distributing, you might as well just split 25, 25, 25. So like how I do it in that aspect, if I'm doing it that way through my site, I'll sell them for $4 so I pull $1 in. However, I don't pay for overhead when it comes to the printing. So technically, I'm making 100% profit on that window. I prefer doing them wholesale from my house, personally, because then you can specialize, you can do signatures, and you can raise the price. And let's say like one of the printers I like to use pretty much is about $2.35 per print. If you sell them for $5, you double your money. So it's it's all in the way of the method I'm trying to get it done so you can still make a profit. But also, like, if you want to do specialty stuff, or if you're doing a special edition or a new variant cover, or if you're doing signatures or whatever, now you can bump the price up. So even though you still print it for $2.35 each, and let's say you're selling it for $10, now you're like 500% your market price. So there's still ways around it to still make a pretty decent profit without gouging the customer. So there's still ways to do it, but you just got to, like, sometimes it comes with there's peaks and valleys, there's highs and lows. But if you find a method that works, call me Jordan. Go ahead and put that 3 down.
I was talking to someone online, and they said, I went in the comic book store and I bought a Marvel book. It was like $6.99, and they thought, damn, I don't even get a bookmark with this. I don't get a bookmark. I don't get a trading card. When you normally get the indie comics, something else comes in the package.
Yes.
Either it's a trading card, it's a bookmark, it's a print. You get something. You don't get. When I still buy mainstream comics. That's my little dirty secret. I will look, guys. I'll be honest with you. I'm getting a bad habit of being ashamed when I go in the comic shop. Like, I make sure I wear my mask now. Like, and I wear the full neck gaiter now. Like, it looks like I'm going to buy meth. That's what it looks like, because I don't want anybody to see me. That's what it looks like. I'm walking like, yeah, comic books. I got a pull list. Don't say my name. I'm Mr. G. Give me the bag of comics. I run to the car. I put them in the car, and I'm going home now. I don't, and no one can know I read them. And then I complain about them to indie printers. I complain about them to hey, this book sucks. Why are they still allowing this? Austin, what do you think about that? How do you price your books?
You know what, man? This is my first venture into comic book publishing.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to defer to the good doctor who just spoke and the other gentlemen who are on the panel, because, I'm in a different situation as these guys. These guys have been doing it. They've been doing it well. So I defer to them, Varian.
Well, I got something to say, because I take exception with the word gouge, because there's everything is overpriced and underpriced. It all depends on how much someone's willing to pay. So
sounds like capitalism to me, Russell.
Well, I just went to shows. I used to go to shows, and Zenescope would be selling the same comic that you could get for $3.99 for $25 because they had a show exclusive variant on it, and so to me, the value is somewhere between $3 for a comic and $1 million. I don't know. Like it depends, and all of that is dependent on the venue. On Kickstarter, you can trade, you can price it for higher if you make a bigger, thicker book. So, for instance, you have your 22-page comic or 20-page comic, and you add the script. That's now 40 pages. Suddenly, you're at a 40-page comic. You have some pinups and maybe the variant cover you put like as a page inside. You've got maybe a 52-page comic. Well, suddenly, like, is $10, $15 too much to pay for 50-page comic? To go back to your point, I've always priced things, or at least thought of single issue floppies just like Marvel did, which is my goal in a single issue floppy is to break even on the production costs so that I can rake in money on the trade. And I do think indie comics is way too concerned with the single issues, and they never actually get to the trade, because that is how traditionally comic book publishers have made money. They've broken even or worse on the single issues, and then they charge $15, $20. For me, I charge $40 for the hardcover. I like to get a 10x margin on my trades. But for single issues, I'm really just trying to live to see another day.
It's funny. Russell said he took offense to gouge. I thought he was going to say, because I seen someone online say they were complaining about a wrestling comic that was out, not the one that Traded Dinosaur did, another one, and they said, I do, when we all watch, anybody here watch wrestling ever? Like, yeah, okay.
All the time.
All right, yeah. So, by the way, Vince, your product is horrible.
Absolutely correct. I have no rebuttal.
But he says that someone was mad because they don't like the term foreign object because it is offensive to foreigners. So stop saying there's a foreign object in the ring. And I'm like, really? And it's funny because I seen Tony Schiavone at a Comic-Con last year. And I know that, I remember, a lot of the old WCW, you say, foreign object in the ring, oh my God. And I'm like, I told him about it. I said, that's a guy who's mad. People were mad on Twitter about the word foreign object. And he was like, yeah, fuck him. It was it's a very casually yes group. So when you say you didn't like gouge, I'm like, I gouge. My mind went there, but my mind is wired really weird, Russell. I'm sorry. I like what you said, though, Russell. I mean, like you said, what is the price for a standard comic?
They're selling NFTs out here for $1 million for like a 20-second video, second video that Logan Paul put out, or like some like duck painting for like $5,000. Like, it's air, and like if someone can justify like charging $5,000 or whatever they charge for whatever NFT thing they're doing, like nothing is overpriced.
I seen someone compare NFTs the other day, and I don't know. I know very little about NFTs. I mean, I hear NFT and I just start, like, my eyes glaze over. And I heard someone the other day refer to NFTs as like buying stars. Like, all the people who bought stars back in the day, those companies are out of business. But you say, and like, your star might be owned by 20 different people. Lloyd, what do you think about it? I mean, when you price stuff, is that always at the back of your mind?
It took some reminding from Natasha about pricing, right? Because initially I was concerned about kind of the mindset. I was like, oh, well, if we lower it, it'll help with more of an impulse buy, or we charge it too much, da-da-da-da. But early on, I said, there's this quote that I used to stand by that she had to remind me of. Everybody has time and money. It's what they're willing to spend it on, right? And so, of course, we're not going to charge anything ridiculous. But if, being indie, we're like, okay, well, here's $12 for a 40-page book. We think that's what the value is. Like you said, the NFTs, $5,000, $1 million, whatever like that. Okay, then what's $12 in comparison to the value that we're bringing, right? And
right,
so,
well, every piece every page is a print, basically.
Exactly.
And like, if you can sell a print for $20, like you should be able to sell a comic for 20 times how many pages are in it.
Exactly. So yeah. So again, we just kind of stand by that quote. Of course, look at what the prices of mainstream comics are going, see what some of the other indie people are doing, but also make sure that we get a benefit out of it as well. So again, sell it for $12. If people don't want to do that, hey, you missed out on the value that we're bringing. That's fine. Somebody else will.
That's fair.
You might throw a tick at the bottom of the screen. Says, y'all see the way Lloyd gave his wife the praise? That's
Yeah,
a
I
skill
saw
set of a
that.
legend right there.
I see you.
I
see you.
I nominate Lloyd for Husband of the Year.
That's right.
I second
Yeah,
that
I know it's
nomination.
only I know it's only a week into the year, Lloyd, but you're running.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
You got it.
Natasha, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, like, you have to tell Lloyd that you got to raise your prices.
I told him that because at first he wanted to do it, standard price for what you would get in a 20-page comic issue. And I was like, well, we have double that. So why don't we double that? You get double the pages, you pay double the price.
Yeah.
I mean, other stuff comes out that's not as long, then you'll pay less.
And now a lot of people don't know this, but I because I keep it secret. I don't keep it secret, really. But I started a distribution company back in 2015, and I tested myself first. I tested it on myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell all my stuff through my distribution company. It's called Liberty Entertainment Distribution Group. Now, the problem is, though, when I started, I said, I don't want to charge, because I'm a creator, I'm an artist as well. I don't want to charge the creators a bunch of money. So I'm not going to take anything from creators. Now, that sounds silly, but it can work. So we don't take anything from creators. At the same time, I understand why other distributors do. We just found a method that didn't, because I had a partner at the time, and he told me, he said, well, we need to figure out what Diamond is doing, figure out their formula and remake that. And I'm like, no, you're missing the point. My opinion, Diamond formula is broken. Let's redo it. Let's take it apart and put together a new system that helps the indie creator. And that's what we did. Oh, I did, because he was like, no. And I was like, okay, kick rocks. So, I started Liberty, ledg.us, if anybody's looking, by the way. And then we started another thing, too, we did for the retailers. We actually have a Liberty Pledge, where if that book does not sell for whatever reason, I don't think the book won't sell. I think it might just not sell in your store, because different stores have different client bases who might prefer a book to be a certain way. Well, we have the pledge where if the book doesn't sell, we'll buy it back from the store, or we'll trade them for a book that they might want. And that doesn't hurt the person, the vendor. That doesn't hurt the creator or publisher. And it doesn't hurt anybody. So we found a different way to do business. We found a different way to do distribution. It may seem weird, but it works. And I urge everybody to go over to Liberty Entertainment Distribution, ledg.us. Check it out. And I'm always willing to talk to the number. If you call right now, I'm not answering. But and the person who would answer is, they're off, so they're done. Yeah, so they're not answering. You forget. But give us a call tomorrow, and happy to talk to you about it.
Pricing easier.
Yeah. The next, and we're at will publisher too, meaning so it's a distributor too. So, we don't make anybody exclusive like some companies. You have to be either us or no one now. None of that. Also, from another question we have, and I thought this one was funny, and Lola will like this. Okay. I know how this feels, and I'm sorry to the person who wrote this. Let me find his name. Crap. Oh, Ethan. Okay. Ethan says, not that Ethan, another Ethan. He says, I'm really upset, guys. I have been making comics for 15 years. 4 years ago, I got married. My wife took an interest in comics. Now she's making them. She had a very good year last year outselling me. I have to admit, I am a little upset that she's coming to the industry that I love and is now outselling me and making me feel like I'm the novice. Ethan.
Fuck off.
Deal, bro. Your wife is bringing home the bacon.
Right.
I made more than him last year with my first book I ever put out.
Okay,
Fuck off.
whoa,
Deal
whoa,
with it.
Whoa. Let's get something clear here. Wait a minute. Okay, wait. Let's wait. Hold on. Flag on the play.
Oh hell no! Oh my God!
I didn't see that coming.
I'm
Watch
freaking.
your words.
Can you play that again?
Wait a minute. Wait.
I didn't hear that. Play that again.
more.
I didn't hear that well enough.
I got more. Lola,
How dare you?
Oh,
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you? You made more than me last year. That was okay. Hey, that's 1 year.
80 pages.
Don't show that book.
First book.
Don't show that book. That book contains adult imagery. First of all, you no. Okay, that was 1 year. Okay, you know what? I got you. I got that ass. What people don't know is that Lola and I are married. People don't realize that. They're like, you married to her?
well, we know it now.
Yeah. Now, I can't believe she just said, I made more than you last year. You sure did.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'll fix you though. I got you. I do think, Ethan, though, I understand what you're saying, but dude, your wife's making the money. Be proud of her, support her. Like I once supported Lola, no longer. She do that. She do down the gamut. Y'all heard her. She do it
Ethan's
down.
wife hiring right now?
I am going to decimate her this year.
Let me brush up my resume real quick. Hold on. All right. Give me an email address to send this thing to.
Smartest publisher. What did he say? I keep calling Joe smartest publisher. I'm sorry, Joe. That's what smart press publisher. Egos, not like she makes the money and giving it to the sugar daddy. That's right. That's what happens here. I'm the sugar daddy.
You're well kept. Yes.
That's right. I'm a kept man. Spoiled. I'm a kept man. I'm gonna sit on my ass and just get fatter and fatter. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to get fat. It's gonna be awesome. What do you guys think? Would you be mad if your significant other outsold you? Like they came in the industry, started liking it, and put a book out and did better than you?
God, I wish she would do that.
First
Oh my God, please.
Not for one solitary second would I be upset about that.
We could only be so lucky, man.
Thank you, Austin. I second that motion. Good.
Yeah.
I wish my wife would get into the industry and then start selling trillions. Let me sit my sorry tail down and enjoy and backstroke straight up Scrooge McDuck style. You ain't got to tell me but one time.
Well, more than that, like I would be trying to give her every tip that I had, because I don't want her to spend. I've been doing this for 12 years, and if she wanted to do a book right now, I'd be like, okay, here's everything that I learned. Here's every genre that is hot. Here's every trope that you should use. Here's a list of 100 artists that I think could like make this book successful. And like, she probably learned a whole bunch from you, Ethan. And like, you should be very proud of that, because while my wife does not want to make comics, unfortunately, or write books, I do mentor a lot of artists. And like, while I do feel sometimes like a little pang of like, oh man, like that guy just like made so much money on that book. I never made that much money on a book ever before. Most of what I feel is pride, because I had a little piece of it. Like I was able to tweak it. Maybe she tweaked it through the things that you had said over the years, or the mistakes that you made, and it was able to make her series just more successful than yours. That's wonderful. Whether it's mentorship or partnership, like you should be very proud and be trying to double down on everything that she's doing.
We lost Austin, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back.
I had 11 years to learn the industry before I put my own stuff out. So
Hello, did you learn from Varian's like stuff throughout the time that you were together?
He was making. I was a publisher for 11 years. I'm still a publisher, and then I decided to put my own stuff out.
And Russell, everything you said was absolutely correct in regards to how I guess Ethan's wife watched the whole journey, and he should be in her corner straight up and down, because if she does well, he does well. There's no like, oh, my wife is doing all this and I'm not there. You're a team,
right?
You're a team. Work together. If she's found a recipe that's working, back her play.
Right.
It's not hard to understand.
I want to know why Ethan's acting like he ain't, like they don't have 2 ATM cards.
Hello.
Right.
Like,
well, it's also really hard to take your own advice. Like I know things that will work a lot better, but like I can't do them because there's genres or just things I don't like as much as the stuff that I'm making. And so like, as someone who is new to an industry, like it's often you can take all of the things. You don't have the ingrained bad habits or the ingrained good habits, but you're able to see things in a like a beginner's eye and be like, oh, here's all the advice. Here's all the things I watch these people do. My husband or my friend do that, like that he screwed up. And like, this is a path that he's down, like that he can't crawl back from. Maybe he makes 20 grand a year, like doing this one genre, and he can't give up that 20 grand to go and build up like a different genre that's like more popular or make more money. But like someone who's never done it before can see all of the pieces and put them together in a way and line it up in a way that the original person never could do. So I would say more than just like being in her corner, like you should be also feel very proud of the work that you did in your career that, for better or worse, molded the person that you're spending the rest of your life with and made them the creator that they are.
And well, Lloyd, let's see you and Natasha, because you know me and Independence are toxic. We already determined we're toxic. Natasha starts making comics completely on her own, like independently. She's like, hey, I got my own label. I'm making my own stuff, you know. And I know, like for me,
she's like Beyonce.
Yeah, it's like, hey, where you going? Like, and that's the first thing, because I started making my music labels and how, like, you know, somebody make their own label and then all of a sudden they ain't rocking with the crew anymore. What do you do if Natasha starts outselling you, man? Are you happy? Are you?
I'd be happy, and I definitely finally start taking her advice. Because first off, she's already writing. We're already teamed up and writing stories and stuff. She has her own stories that she's telling. I have mine. And come together on some of the other ones. But if she decides to go off and do her own thing, I know she's going to be booming because she does social media way better than I do. And that she's excels at that. So I definitely would just, again, listen to her advice and kind of start mimicking what she's doing instead of getting mad. Of course, at the same time, hey, we're winning, we eating, right? Yeah. Like if you make it, money, hey, we got this, right? Yeah. But yeah, I would just simply be like, all right, so I've been doing this for 10 plus years. Well, I haven't. This is our second year in this. But I'm just saying, like, if I was doing this by myself, much like the Ethan, right? If I did it all that time, I didn't really see much of a benefit and stuff, and then my wife jumps in all out of nowhere, and there's the success. You'd be like, okay, what did you do? Help me.
Yeah, help me.
You know,
help me.
Help me.
You know what Ethan could do? He could just slip his wife a roofie, and then he could put his name on her work. She would never know. Hey,
she'd be none the wiser.
I am all about solutions. I'm a problem solver. Boom.
I'm with that.
Yeah, it's like I'm in the solutions business. I do. I mean, look, I gotta tell you guys. Look, if Lola, makes a ton of money, and listen, we've all got that friend who went over the house, and their wife said something, and you look at your friend like. Say something to her, and you see your friend look like your friend looked like y'all was like 8, like when he was getting in trouble, he looked at you and shake his head real quick. It's like, this her house. It's her house. I ain't going. Yeah. Let's move. Let's go down here in the basement and play PlayStation. Come on, dog. Let's don't.
But to use another analogy, like I think about sports, right? Where like you've got like a basketball or football player who's like really great high school, maybe even a college athlete, but like they never made it to pros, and then their kid like makes it to pros, and like you're supposed to be like you took them out back and you like threw the ball with them, like you like showed them all of the things that and like allowed them to progress faster, and like again, like you need to understand that like people may surpass you, but like you help them get there. And like I also think of other writers, and I think of Joe Hill, for instance, like Lock and Key was a good show. It was a good book, but like it wasn't a great book. Like he got so successful and he got all the things he did. A lot of it, even though he took the name Joe Hill from being Stephen King's kid, because Stephen King taught him how to publish and write books. Like, he got a mentorship for 20 years on how to be an author and how to be a professional author, and was able to get in the circle of all of those people. And I highly doubt that that when that guy launched his book, like he didn't tell that when that guy's wife launched his book, he didn't tell anyone. Like he wasn't he wasn't out there saying like, hey, you should buy this book, which also helped. So like sometimes you were the first generation of like a creator, or like you pave the path, but like you don't get to the mountaintop, but like you can help other people get to the mountaintop. And like that is equally as good or better as someone who has made a pretty decent career, like helping other people get to the mountaintop.
I'm, that actually almost is our next and last question, and then we'll start looking at you guys' campaigns and books. But keep all that in mind, Russell. But I did want to say, it's funny that you mentioned like the mentorships. I've had so many accidental mentorships. When I was a child, my parents stuck me in model, and I mentioned this a couple of times. Everyone knows this. I was a kid model, a lot of Kmart ads, a lot of ads, commercials I was in. I used to be cute. And what happened was I remember the Kmart headquarters used to be in Troy, and they had a big, gorgeous building. Maybe one day I can buy it. It's still there. I actually, one of the first houses I rented since I've been grown was right around the corner from that building. So I would go over there and I would look at it, and I know my wife must have been really sick of me pointing to and telling the memories of it. And I almost went with one of those urban explorers. He went into the building, and I messaged him on YouTube. I said, hey, if you go down that hall, straight down that hall and go to the left, there's a photography room. And he's like, yeah, there is. There's a bunch of photography equipment still there. And I'm like, yeah, it's and he's like, you want to come in? And I'm like, I haven't been in that building in years, since I was like 11. But the thing about that mentorship was that a lot of times they would let me go into the like boardroom, and I'd hear these corporate executives talking for hours about business and even about me. For example, and I don't know if they listen. That's when I learned that the corporate world, especially when it comes to advertising or promotion, is difficult. I got fired from a movie. It was Cop and a Half. Movie was that Burt Reynolds, and I forget the young man who got the job. But I got fired from that movie because the director took one look at me and said, "You're not black enough." Now I don't know if anybody's ever seen me, but I'm as black as an ace of spades. And he said, and he looked at me and says, and the lady, the casting director came over and says, no, we realize you're black. You just look too clean. Now, she could not say that today. She could not say that today without a lawsuit. She said,
if I had a nickel for every time I was told you are not black enough, I'd be rich.
I was gonna say, like, proper bag test, you barely pass it, but they said that I was. She said that you look like the smart kid in the neighborhood. You're not we need a rough kid. Ooh. And that it hurt me. It hurt me, and I was like, but it gave me a thicker skin, and it taught me how the corporate world thinks. And I was sitting there listening to how they would do things. I also got a part once because I was lighter than the other kid, and which sucked. I'm like, sucked for him. I mean, I made that money. I got that bag. There's a point where you just don't care, give me the money. But I did want to say that accidental mentorship, you just start listening, you're picking up stuff, and that's what your family can do by almost osmosis. Just pick up things and you get that education. Just be a sponge, and that brings us to the next question, which is almost follows that dovetails with that one perfectly. This guy, his name is John. John says, I'm going to read it directly as he wrote it. I took on a protege 2 years ago at a con. The guy was really passionate about making comics. He was an attendee, and he told me his dream was to make his own comic. He is 2 years older than me, but I took him under my wing and have been giving him every bit of my 20-year education in this business. He is not performing well. I don't know how to tell him this. He is taking any information I give him, taking it apart, using scraps and pieces, and it is not resulting in success. Do I dump this guy? What do I do? No.
Get rid of him.
No, how mean. Damn.
Listen, man, this can be any business, man. This question could be from any business, whether it's comic book publishing, selling insurance, being a dental hygienist. At the end of the day, if you're taking on a protege, no matter what you're doing, you have to determine, okay, is this person worth saving? If they're worth saving, then you figure it out. If they're not worth saving, you need to cut bait as soon as possible, give it to them straight, and let them find something else. That's it. Real simple. Or find another mentor that maybe fits with this person better.
You know, it was like I was telling my protege, Robert Kirkman. And I was telling him the other day, I'm just kidding now. Robert Kirkman can't stop getting sued, by the way, by his co-creators. I'm sorry. I got to say that. I do not want any co-creators anymore. I see how y'all cut through that. Lloyd, watch yourself. If Natasha puts her name on your comics, I know y'all married, but Kirkman got sued twice by co-creators. And the guy is always co-created by, nope, no more. It's mine. He ain't suing me. Anyway, I agree though, Austin. Sometimes you got to cut bait and go on. Russell, have you ever had to cut a protege? Have you taken on a protege and was like, you know what, this isn't working, you suck?
No, I don't.
Why are you lying, Russell? Because
I'm trying to say this.
Think about that.
So what ends up happening is, for me, is like, I will give these people advice and they will not take it for long enough that I will just stop caring. And like, I will just know. And like, I wouldn't say like, this is, because like generally like I'm not picking some random human and protegeing them. I'm saying like, I know you, like I'm going to take you under my wing basically. So like, we're still friends, but like, I'm no longer spending hours on a call with them because like, I know, and it's not because they're bad. It's because they don't want to do the marketing work. Almost always it's because of that. Like it's generally not the creating work because like generally like even if it's a different kind of creating or like we don't vibe as far as the creators go, like generally I can help them get better like as a creator and thinking about projects, just like the way that they think about a project like from the beginning and conceive it throughout. But at some point it gets to the point where like they don't want to sell it. And often they actively sabotage themselves selling it. And often they will do the exact same thing that I tell them not to do for long enough. And they're like, I don't know why I can't make forward. And I'm like, I do, but and the first few times that it happens, I'll like try and correct them like a baby bird. But like eventually I'm just like, go into the wire. Like, I don't care. I can't care because like I have given you everything. And what's really weird is you will have 5 or 6 people that you may be mentoring at a time. And like one of them just gets it. And like 3 of them like kind of get it. And one of them doesn't get it at all. And like you're giving roughly the same information to them. And some people just run with it. And some people are in their own way. And I'm not a psychologist. Like, so I can help you make comics or make books or become a better author or like do marketing or like to some level get out of your way. But like, I am not a therapist. Like I can't stop. I oftentimes people have an aversion to making money. Like they think they don't deserve it. They think that their book isn't good enough, whatever the way is. But like they turn away from money and every time they get close to it, they move the other way. And like you can see it if you do it for long enough. You can also see it when someone is like wants to create and like they get to the place and they build up a head of steam and then like for some reason they every project falls apart. Like they move on to the next thing, then the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It's that same thing. It's that I think it's this deep-seated fear of like success more than it is failure, honestly. Like I think that they think that they don't deserve the success, like to have success. And I am not a therapist. Like I can't fix that problem. They have to fix it within themselves. And once they do, they will have all of the tools that they need to survive, to like succeed. But I can't, and I refuse to break that mental barrier for them because A, I don't want to break it wrong. And B, like I don't have the time to do that. So I think that you have to give them, if you've given them everything, John, if you've given them everything, like, then they have to put the pieces together at some point. You have to say, okay, Like, you've done it all. Now it's your time to go out and like, you can ask me questions if you want, but like, I'm not having 500 conversations with you a year. Like, I'm not doing a weekly, whatever the thing is, if it's monthly or weekly, or I hope it's not weekly. But like, whatever the time period is that you're talking to them, we need to just stop doing that. But
I think, yeah, I mean, you got a good point. You made a good point there, but as far as like, well, like, would you? Oh, I got a question for you guys, then, Lloyd. What would you take on a protege? Would you take on one? And
So
like, we all got that feeling. Like, I want to take on.
Go ahead, Lloyd. You can go first.
Yeah, so kind of like what Austin said initially, this works in any business, right? So I kind of, and of course, still piggyback off of Russell as well. I guess the mindset is when if we were to take on like a protege or something of that nature, just like in the job space, you want to verify if the person's teachable, right? So they can have all the skills in the world or they can't, whatever, but if they're teachable, you have something to work with. So going into that, if maybe they're starting off on a project, whatever the case is, whether it looks good or not, if they're willing to learn from your experience and apply that, all right, cool. But if they're not, then it comes into you making sure that you can be blunt enough with them or comfortable enough with them to say, hey,
you're not doing this the way I said do it.
Right.
Fix it. Then if they don't fix it.
Right. So yeah, there you go. Did y'all hear her? I'm sorry. As well.
She's kind of low. What'd you say? What'd you say, Natasha?
Say it again. Sorry.
It was like, start off with honesty and be blunt.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, I told you to do it this way. You're doing it wrong. And if they're not willing to fix what they're doing wrong, I'm speaking former education here too. They're not willing to fix what they're doing wrong. That's when you get into Russell's territory where it's like, can't keep doing this if you're just not going to listen.
Right.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You cannot coddle these people. I mean, this is the big bad world out there. They need to know.
Right.
No matter what industry you're in.
Well, I'm going to push back on that because some people would be very good at something that I am not qualified to teach them, which is like getting into bookstores. And like, I have a friend who I think would make a killing going into like Christian bookstores, basically, and going into like organizations, and like I think his books would sell like bananas if he could figure out how to do that. Like, but what I can teach, which is like making comics and books and selling them on Kickstarter and direct to customer, like I don't think that like his books do not resonate in that way. Like so it's not always that they can't be taught. It's just I can't teach them.
Well, I mean, I get that. So again, like as long as they're teachable, cool, you could work with them to that extent, and then maybe point them in the direction of somebody that you may know that can help them better in that space.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because of course we're not all experts in every aspect of all of this, right? Like I said, I honestly I suck at social media. If it wasn't for her, I'd be dead in the water, right? And so I have her to lean on, and then if there's something else that we don't understand, then we can come into these spaces and ask you guys. I mean, Russell, you've been in it longer than us. We can be like, okay, based on your experience X, Y, and Z, right? And so you utilize you network, right? And so of course, all of us doing what we're doing now, we have an idea of what the space looks like, and we can advise any potential proteges, hey, I don't know, here you go, because we don't know it all. And so as long as we're showing ourselves to be that humble as well, it would help the person that we're bringing up.
Yeah. So that's what I would recommend probably for John is like, you don't have to say like you're unteachable or like you're bad. Just like you have to, but at some point you will know. And it sounds like you're at that point now that like, this is not, I can't take them any further. And when like, just like there are different CEOs to take someone from a startup to $1 million and $1 million to 10 million and 10 million to 100 million, 100 million to $1 billion, like the same CEO from 0 to $1 million is not the same guy. They have a different set of skills. And you have given all of this person your skills, and it's time to say, you got to go find someone else. Like, I don't know I can't help you anymore.
Yeah. Cause there's a point where that mentorship can end because you have everything, like you graduated now. It's not that you failed, you graduated. Dre, you want to say something? Were you gonna?
Yeah. I was gonna say that all three of you made excellent points. Austin, it's a dog eat dog world,
And I'm wearing milk bone underwear.
Hey, that's the way the game goes. Russell, what you were saying as far as like how far mentorship can actually go. Once again, you're making an excellent point. especially with your own skill set that you might be able to pass on to somebody, or if you don't have the skill set to pass on to get them to that next level based on whatever they're doing, like you were saying with the Christian book or something like that, and that's not your field. Lloyd, what you're saying is as far as like education goes and far as where it can be pushed, absolutely right. I'm coming from a perspective of being a protege and a mentor at different varying points of my career. And when I was a protege, I was a sponge. Like everything that my mentor was telling me to do, I soaked it in, rinse that sponge right out, and soak it in again. I was just that type of student. But those that I have mentored over the years and in recent times, some just don't have that type of grit. They just don't have that grit to be like, hey, like even if I can't use this right now, I'm gonna soak up all I can, and then I'm going to rinse it out, and I'm gonna soak up more. What a lot of up and comers or people that are newer to the industry or to that nature, they like to nitpick. They like to take like, oh, I like this piece, but I don't really like this piece. Oh, I like the creation part, but I don't like the business part. I don't like I want to do a Kickstarter, but I don't want to put it in stores. Like the idea that you know nothing and yet you still wish to take things that you like and don't want is absolutely ludicrous. So it gets down to the point where, is this student, like Lloyd said, is this student teachable? Is this a teachable student? Because even if someone is failing, what is the reason why they're failing? Are they failing just because maybe the market sucks, or maybe they aimed at the wrong audience? Maybe some production value. Like why is it falling apart? So before I can't remember the guy's name who put the note in.
It was John.
Yeah, John. So but before you kick the guy to the curb, gotta understand why he's failing. If it's on his side, if he's not putting forth the right effort or doing what he's supposed to be doing, hey, like Austin said, cut that bait. But if this is about like he's putting forth his best effort and falling short, figure out what the one thing is that he's missing and try to mentor him on that aspect, or find someone who can mentor him on that aspect to get him to that next level.
I want to say something about the mentorship thing because this is really funny. Two things, but one is that I knew some guys. They made comics, and one of them's probably listening to the show. I don't care, but they made comics, and they said they I remember once they did a panel, and I couldn't believe they had a panel at the show. I'm like, they got a panel? Like these guys had made a was it a 4-page? Well, technically 8, but it was 4 physical pages. Ash can, by the way, that's not an ash can, but over there, the ash can, and I wanted to support them. They're from Michigan. I wanted to support them. And I'm like, hey, man, how much for the ash can? And he was like, oh, $20. And the problem is that there were people standing there and there was a camera there from some network. And I was like, I can't cuss because they're filming. I'm like, all right, here's the $20, you mother. And I kept that hidden from Lola for a while. And so she's like, how much was this? And I'm like, 20. She's like, what? This pamphlet? But I remember.
Was it any good?
No,
Right,
no, it wasn't any good at all. But it's like if I wanted to read the adventures of, okay, it's Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man ripoff. It's a Spider-Man ripoff. But get this, guys, he's black, and I'm like, well, we have one of those now, and it's like, okay, but he's black and gay, and I'm like, jury's out on Miles. I mean, we don't know what they're gonna do to Miles next. He could be gay next week. We don't know, but it's like it doesn't matter. Like, but the problem was this: they did a panel, and I'm like, they have a panel, so I went, and they're like, yeah, we took a photo with Stan Lee, and we asked Stan, hey, how do you make it in the comic book business? Now, I don't know if you guys ever met Stan in his later years, but Stan would just like, get the fuck away from me. I mean, he was just like, here's your picture, here's your handshake, Excelsior, and that's it. Give my money. And but I appreciate that.
Until I took a picture with him.
Yeah, well, he was like, he greeted us, hello, boobs. But he said, you were pregnant at that point too, weren't you? Yeah. And he said, But they asked Stan, they said, how do you make it in the comic industry? And Stan said, find a damn good artist. So I don't find a damn
please
good
tell
artist.
Me the please tell me the panel ended right there. That's
That
like, thank
took-
you. You cut my
yeah.
pen.
That took 2 seconds, okay? So when Stan passed away, I was in the hospital when Stan passed away. I had MRSA, and you know, I cried in the hospital. I mean, you would have thought that you would have thought that but the editor-in-chief of this company, which is no longer in existence, by the way, went online and posted a video sobbing. And he said, my mentor passed away today. Stan Lee is gone. And I'm like, your mentor? Now, I'm like, I had to go check the dictionary about what a mentor was. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You mean your role model? Like, this guy was crying his eyes out. I mean, you know, I felt the way too, but like, Stan Lee's not my mentor. He never took me under his wing. You know, he's a role model. I look at him like, okay, yeah, I like to create worlds and stuff. That's cool, but he wasn't a mentor. Also, guys, I want to say one other thing before we go to your campaigns. And I'm running a warning in there. Bears and says something super horrible in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you, and this is very important, ladies, be careful, because there are men out here in the industry who will mentor you right into their beds. I keep hearing about it. We keep getting letters about it. There's a level of professionalism when you cross that line. Hey, come to the Comic-Con with me. Yeah. Oh, geez, the hotel was out of double beds. The oldest trick in the book. You know, be careful. I mean, I will tell ladies out here, be careful about that mentorship thing, because I've had ladies tell me, and Natasha, you could probably speak to this. I had a young lady tell me and Lola, I said, well, Lola can teach you some stuff about comics. I'd rather you do it. And I'm like, they're trying to get us both killed, you know.
Natasha's face told the whole story.
That's how Lloyd met Natasha, man. You're like blowing it for all of us.
I'm sorry, Lloyd. I'm my fault. You tricked her. You tricked her. I see. Oh, yeah. So she tricked you, Lloyd. She got you like that. I'll take this one.
I'm glad I didn't bring my wife on the show tonight. Wow.
But so I would tell the ladies, be careful. But Natasha, how would you react to something like that? Like, well, I'd rather have Lloyd mentor me, not so much you, because you know, like, because you, like, I know you might be making, okay, is this a trying to get my man thing, or is this a woman? I'm not sure what it is. I mean, but I've heard women tell me that. Is that something that you would?
And they're stupid.
Would you kick rocks?
You're stupid, Lola. I agree with you. Lloyd has better boundaries than I do with women, so as far as women coming to him. So I'm good. And he told me everything.
Yeah.
He showed me messages. I don't need you finding nothing later. And being like, what's this? This is what happened. This was the interaction. I said no.
And I wish I had those kind of problems. Damn.
Women are stupid.
Conventions together, Lloyd.
Well, you should paraphrase your sentence with some, Lola, because some people do want to shortcut.
No, the ones that approach you are stupid. If they want to sleep with you, the best way to sleep with you is to hit on me to make me like them.
That is true. However, listen. I mean, you just called all my sneaky links stupid. Now I gotta go. You know how much damn candy I gotta buy tomorrow.
Are we recording this? I should be writing all this stuff down. Hold on. Where's my pen and paper? I gotta take notes.
I want to apologize to Amy, Champagne, Carlotta. I want to apologize to you ladies. My wife called you stupid, but y'all know important.
I don't deal with hoes.
Hoes now? Really? We got. I used to listen. I used to call them Comic-Conies, because believe it or not, there are girls out there who will sleep. There are girls out there who will sleep with creators just to try to get in the industry, and it's sad. I knew there was a girl who worked for a larger organization, and her idea was to get a convention organization, and she told us she had a 5-year plan to snag herself an A-list celeb. She had a 5-year plan.
Wow. Oh my God.
And
so technically, that's a business plan that she's putting together. That's how a business plan is organized. A 5-year business plan.
Yeah. It's like she was gonna work her way up. So she started with a D-list celeb, and sure as shit, she never got an A-list guy. But you know, she was walking through the convention. She wasn't with him, but she got herself really, really close to a couple. You know, like I'm gonna say this: she got herself really close to somebody from the CW, an actor.
Oh Lord!
And I was like, what's up?
So that don't mean anything. Michael Rooker kissed my hand and pulled him close to me.
Yeah, I watch Michael now. Every time I see y'all do, I fast forward through the movie.
Anyways, hail to Aces and hello, Dave.
Dave Brown. Hey, Dave Brown. All right. Shaking my damn head. Only it's true. It's true. Now, let's look at some of these campaigns these fine folks got out. We will start with the Masters #1. And we're going to get into this here. Let me see. By the way, if you're offended by anything I've said, please send all the comments to the Power Comics. All your hate mail. Send it over there.
You don't like what you hear, just send your complaints to me.
Now the Masters is I got the video pulled up here from good old Chicagoland.
Yeah,
I was my third home away from home. Spent a lot of time in Rosemont, Illinois.
I thought you looked familiar, Barry.
I wanted to move to Rosemont for a while. Lola did. She wanted to move to Rosemont because she was like, "Hey, they don't pay city taxes." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." We started thinking about it. We started looking around, and then they found that girl in the freezer, and I was like, "Nah." You know, like,
yeah, that was pretty crazy, man.
That'll change it up.
Yeah. Like that wasn't your reason, but my reason was they find women go missing. They find you in a hotel freezer, and I know we stayed in that hotel before. Nah. Plus, I said enough tonight. All right. So this is the Masters #1, a class superhero versus supervillain comic. I'm playing the video real quick. Here we go.
Oh, that's a 30-minute video, brother. Hey, everybody. This is Austin Hough, the writer of The Masters and the editor and publisher of Power Comics Incorporated. Today is Friday, December 10th, and we are relaunching our Masters Kickstarter today, focusing only on issue 1 and some extra rewards and add-ons. As you probably know, we tried to do the whole shebang about a month ago. That raised a lot of money, but not our specific goal. So we decided to retool and come back sleeker, stronger, better, with one issue at a time. And that's what we're doing today. But I wanted to give you a little insight into the Masters, how we got here, who I am, who are all the people on the project, to go along with the Kickstarter. So you have a better understanding of who you're supporting and who you're pledging to. I'm coming to you again live from my home office, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information about me.
Do you want to tell us a bit about this live? Or you want me to keep playing this?
Let's talk live. Why would we want to do Memorex when I'm here live?
For one, I'm very upset. I'm very upset, Austin. I didn't know you had this type of pull in Hollywood. Explain to me how you got Vincent D'Onofrio to do your Kickstarter video.
How did I what?
Vincent D'Onofrio to do your Kickstarter video. I know Vincent D'Onofrio when I see him. Law and Order, Men in Black. I'm just kidding. I looked at you earlier. I said, "Holy shit, that's Vincent D'Onofrio." That's cool.
Vinny and I are separated at birth.
Nice.
You've heard of Brothers from Another Mother? That's me and Vinny.
That's cool. That's because the only person I get compared to is Kevin Hart.
Oh,
and he's taller than me. So.
Wait a minute.
That's awesome.
He's taller than me too.
Lola's taller than me, and she doesn't let me forget it either. She's like, "What'd you say?" And she looks like she sticks her neck out, like, "What'd you say?" So let me bring your campaign back up though, because I'm gonna.
That sounds good.
Look at it. Let me hit reload here. Bring this back up. And I'll let you tell us about it because we got you here. All right, go ahead.
Essentially, the Masters is my love letter to the Bronze Age of comics. I created a group of supervillains that were all inspired by my favorite artists of the 20th century. They all have superpowers that are based in their art or something art related. And I originally pitched this idea to my good friend Art Baltazar at DC Comics,
Mhm.
and we were out at lunch one day. We've been friends for probably 15, 16 years, and I pitched him the story, the whole idea behind it. I said, "What do you think of this?" And I had made action figures of the villains already. I kind of did things a little bit backwards. I came out with my toy line before I came out with my comic book. And, we're sitting there at lunch, and Art's like, "Man, I love the toys. I love the concept." He's like, "I think we could pitch this to DC, in 2 weeks. C2E2's coming up. Let's meet there, and I'll introduce you to the publisher of DC Comics." 2 weeks later, Dan DiDio, the publisher of DC Comics, was let go. DC was in utter turmoil in 2020. They let go 250 people. So I had this awesome story, this superhero, supervillain story, and I had Batman and a bunch of DC heroes as the good guys, my own villains as the bad guys, and I had nowhere to go with it. So I made the executive decision that I was going to self-publish. So I incorporated Power Comics. I went out and I just started recruiting every artist that I could think of that I liked. I had a couple guys that I knew in the business, like Joe Rubenstein, who I'd become friendly with over the last few years just from doing shows and from meeting him through guys like Art Baltazar and Stefan Rue. And I just reached out to these guys. I said, "Hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. Are you guys interested?" And at first I thought that I was going to be able to get these guys to do just basically covers for me, commission style stuff. They weren't going to want to do the sequential art, the interior pages. But man, these guys jumped on the chance to do the interior pages. The first guy that agreed was Alan Weiss. "Hey, Pops, what's up, brother?" Alan Weiss got my phone number from Joe Rubenstein, called me up. We spent about 3.5 hours on the phone one Sunday night in October of 2020. And he said, "Austin, I'm in for a cover. I'd love to do a chapter, and I'd love to reimagine some of these golden age superheroes that you picked out to replace all the DC superheroes. Like on the cover, you've got the Black Owl that replaced Batman, and you can see the corner box heads over there. All of those guys replaced, their individual heroes like Hawkman and Green Arrow and so on and so forth." And next thing I knew, Alan Weiss was on board, and Ron Wilson came on board, and Val Merrick came on board, and Alex Saviuk and Arvell Jones. Just one guy after another wanted to do this project. And we've got over 40 different gold and silver and bronze age artists working on this project. It's a 5-issue series. We originally launched all issues a couple months ago. That didn't fund. It raised a lot of money, but not enough to hit the goal for Kickstarter. I surveyed everybody that I knew, what could I do better? And basically the consensus was, let's just relaunch one issue at a time. And we did. And we set a very modest goal of 2,500. Well, with about 48 hours to go, we just passed the $23,000 mark. So we're over 23 grand. And I think we have a good shot of getting 25 and an outside shot of making 30. Thank you. But this seems to be the way to do it. And again, it's just a traditional superhero, supervillain story. These guys, the villains are all original. They're on the biggest art heist in the history of the world, and the superheroes are trying to stop them. It turns out that there's a secret leader behind the Masters. That's the name of the bad guys, the Masters. There's a secret leader behind the group, and he is the one pulling all the strings, and he's the big reveal. There's a big double cross in it, and it's just a fun story. It brings together my love for comics, my love for art, my love for literature. I've got homages in this 5-issue series to all of my favorite comic book creators that are no longer with us. Guys like Denny O'Neil and John Buscema and Bob Kane and Bill Finger and Norm Brayfogle and Frank Frazetta, Dick Dillon. There's all kinds of little tributes and Easter eggs and homages. And then all of the extra add-ons that we put together is everything that you would have had when you were a kid growing up in the 70s and 80s. Everything from jigsaw puzzles to Treasury edition size comic books to Slurpee cups from 7-Eleven and everything in between. It's just my love letter to the Bronze Age.
That's cool. See, I was first, you know what you should have said earlier, by the way, is you should have
What?
said you were hanging out with your protege Art Baltazar. Protege, your mentor.
With
That's what I
Vince?
would have said. I like to look at the character there. I was trying to bring it up. There's a picture of the character, a panorama there. It looks
Yeah.
like Randy.
He looks like who?
It looks like Randy Zimmerman. He looks like Randy. Randy drew a picture of himself with a cowboy hat on and is actually bent on the side just like that. I was trying to find it, but it's not readily like here anywhere. But it's really cool that it looks like that. But then I see Randy in any like white guy with a beard. So I'm very weird. You know, I tell him people like him all the time. He's like, no, he doesn't. I'm like, yes, he does. Yes, he does. But I like the concept of this story. Now you you know, I mean, you know, people talk about timing all the time. You know, you're gonna present it to DC, and you know, Dan the DO manages to get himself, you know, fired. You know, and I remember people celebrating. I woke up one morning, people like, yeah, the DO's gone, and I've never seen somebody so happy that somebody had been fired. Now, me on the other hand, I don't know if I'm just a scary person, but I've worked in offices. Okay. And should I put the warning back up? I'm gonna say this. Sometimes people get fired. I get worried. I'm like, did you take their security badge? Can they get back in the building? And could y'all get security to walk me to the car? Because you know, they can wait on the parking lot. You know, because some people are like, I'm fired. All right. You know, and then they walk over to, you know, Walmart and, you know, they come back and sit in the parking lot. I'm just saying, you know, it didn't happen to the DO, but, you know, like it might have happened to me because I'm telling you right now, I could not be fired from a editorial position at like Marvel and DC. Like, you know, I'm not gonna make that joke. Don't make that joke. Don't make that joke. Okay, sorry. I gotta talk to I've got problems, guys. I got mental problems. I gotta talk to myself and say, don't make that joke because if I did, it would go horrible. But I do like the fact that you kept going and you got, you know, like the Batman homage cover, which I recognize. And I love his logo, by the way.
Thanks,
Masters,
brother.
that logo is awesome. Like, I need it on the shirt, you know, so if you want to send me a free one, I'm just saying.
Ooh, let me write that down.
Not you.
Taking my gimmick.
I want to bring something up really quick. I know you said you like that homage to the Batman cover.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things, and again, I keep referring this as to my love letter to Bronze Age comics. I mean, the coolest thing that I've been able to do with this is I believe I was able to get 5 or 6 different artist teams that had drawn some of my favorite covers from my childhood to actually recreate their own covers with my heroes and villains. So if you scroll up a little bit more, you'll see Bart Sears recreated his own Justice League Europe cover with my characters.
That's cool.
I was able to get Al Saviuk and Jeff Isherwood to recreate a West Coast Avengers cover. Ramona Fraden, I was able to get her to recreate one of her Plastic Man covers with my characters. It's so cool to be able to see that Justice League Europe cover right there with my guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I got a chance to meet Mike Grill. I seen that you got him on a book, or you have him doing some art for you.
I do.
I got a chance to meet Mike Grill at a Comic-Con, and I'm like, and he's like, he's across from me, and I'm like, that's Mike Grill. That's Mike Grill. And Will was like, that's awesome. Who's that? And so I give her the long like list of all this man's accomplishments. And then she says, I said, why don't you go get a commission from him? And I'm like, who's he gonna draw? Warlord? Or she's like, have him draw your character. And I'm like, nah. Yeah. So I'll go over to him, ask him, can he draw my character? He's like, yeah, sure. Show me what he looks like. And it's funny. He just text me his picture. Here's my number. And I'm like, I've got Mike Grill's phone number. Like, you would have thought I had like Kim Kardashian's phone number. Kim, call me, please. Pete, really? Anyway, I'm married, but still, Pete. Um, anyway, so the thing is, he drew it, and I'm like, sweet. And then I met Barbara, who inked a lot of his stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, if I can get Barbara to ink this Mike Grail sketch, they worked on a lot of stuff together back at DC and other places. I'm like, but she's too busy to ink it. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting until she's like not busy. I can beg her to ink it. But yeah, you love having these, legends recreate stuff or draw your stuff. It's like that, again, you never think it's gonna happen. This is gorgeous. I mean, look at this, recreating covers, and Bart Sears, there he is holding the cover to the Masters, the print.
Yeah.
Now these prints are available.
They are available. They're available as add-ons, autographed, not autographed. But besides this issue, this Kickstarter is just issue 1. The remaining 4, we put a tentative schedule on this page so people can see it and say, okay, well, I know this issue will be delivered by April, and then there'll be the remaining 4 every couple months after that. So that's the tentative schedule for the 5-issue series. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that with grabbing these Golden Age public domain heroes like we did to replace the DC heroes, all of the artists, or I should say 5 of the artists that I recruited to be on this project, are responsible for reimagining them and kind of giving them a modern feel to it. Black Owl doesn't look like he looked in the 1940s, and neither do any of the other superheroes. Each of the artists who reimagined these heroes, Alan Weiss, Ron Wilson, Arvell Jones, Val Merrick, and Al Saviuk, they've all agreed that if I want to come out with individual titles for those heroes, they're already on board to do the art.
That's cool. You guys have heard me on the show say there are pages that make me want to stop drawing. This is one of them, because it's like, you see how awesome this page is? Like, I can't do that. I can't do any of that. I want to stop drawing. What am I doing with my life?
That's
look at this. This
that's
is gorgeous.
Jeff Isherwood's pencils.
Look at that. I suck as an artist.
I just got 5 new pages of pencils from Pat Broderick this morning, and they are just choice, man. They're just unbelievable.
It's like, why do I even have an art desk in my? Why? Look at this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go sell drugs.
You know what? I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story though. Most of the artists that I'm working with, they're as far back as the 60s. I mean, Ramona Fradon was technically creating art back in the golden age. I mean, if you want to be technical about it. So these guys are all up there. These ladies and gentlemen are all up there in age. But man, I'm telling you, their work has never been better. I think it revolves around 2 things. First of all, they've had a ton of time to hone their skills. Mm-hmm. They are absolutely on top of their game. They've honed their skills. They've sharpened their skills. And secondly, is that they're not under these unbearable work they have to do to get done. It's like, here's 5 pages. Take your time. Do it the way you want to. The detail on the for example, Pat Broderick's pages, the detail, I wanted him to do the first 4 pages of the book, which take place at the Fountain of Youth, where, with Ponce de Leon, okay? And it's all scenery, it's all nature. His detail work is exquisite, and it's never been better, and I've told him that.
Yeah, these look, the work looks really solid, and is Andrew Peepoy with some work there? I mean, a lot of big names in here.
And we do some fun things too there, Barry. And if you go up a little bit, back in the day, the 70s was huge for like fun and games, cool like Hostess ads with the superheroes in it, the Who's Who back in the 80s. We integrate all that stuff. There's going to be 3 or 4 pages of Who's Who pages in each issue. We put a parody Hostess cupcake or Twinkie ad in each issue, and we put a maze from my buddy Joe Woes, who is the maze maestro when it comes to that kind of stuff. We're going to have a little kids fun and games maze in every issue as well, because back in the day there was if you guys remember the comic magazine called Marvel Fun and Games, they'd have crossword puzzles and word searches and mazes and stuff. Again, it's all about Bronze Age all the time with this series.
Yes, because I joke with Randy all the time about Bronze Age. I'm like, your newsprint. Guys, everybody, there's a whole joke about me in newsprint. Somebody sent a message in and said they're gonna do a whole werewolf book in newsprint. Send me in. Like, please don't. I'm afraid of werewolves. They freak me. By the way, who sent that book of werewolf in this week? Last week, Lola. It was Max. Max, fuck you. I got that book, and there's a werewolf in it. And he said for the end of the book, I had no idea there was no warning there was a werewolf. Fuck you, Max, and everybody who looked like you. I can't believe you did that to me. No warning. Sent the book here with a damn werewolf in it.
Well, it wasn't for you anyway, so it was my book, and the rest for Liberty.
Okay. Oh, that bullet was meant for you. It was meant for me. It just hit you. I'm still bleeding. Damn. You know what kind of shit? That's that Detroit shit. That's not what that is. Be quiet, Lola. Anyway, I like this campaign. I'm gonna have to back this, Lola. Unless you've already done it. Have you done it already? You've probably done it.
Russell's already backed the campaign, so thank you, Russell. I appreciate you for that, brother. I'll be back in yours. I think you got about 4 or 5 days left, my man. Is Russell muted?
He might be. Russell, are you muted? I didn't mute anybody.
I muted myself.
Oh, okay.
There's dogs and stuff barking around back here, so it was. But yeah,
it looks great. Got like 4 or 5 days left, Russell. I'll be back in your campaign without fail, and you guys too. God, what was the one I just saved it for? The Unbeloved Chapter 2.
Yeah, I saved that one too.
Yep, I saved that one as well. Dre, you're the odd man out. I ran out of money. I can't help you. I'm messing with you, Doc. Don't worry about it.
No worries, Austin. No worries. And if you want to download my first issue, it's absolutely free, brother.
Nice. I can afford free.
Yeah, the first issue, the digital, is absolutely free.
Beautiful.
I want to hear everybody what they think about it. That's why I love giving everybody a taste. Like,
dude, I'm all about the rhythm within, man. I'm all about it.
I think that you should make sure that in the next one, make sure that I'm a villain. I need to be a comic book villain. I mean, I'm a villain of the industry. So
would it just be easier to make Kevin Hart the villain?
Yeah. Kevin Hart.
I'll do that, bro.
I'm the Kevin Hart you get from Wish. Like you order the Wish. You order Kevin Hart specials from Wish, like the specials on DVD, and just me standing in my living room talking.
You know what? Now that I think about it, Variant, didn't Kevin Hart get that gig as the Cop and a Half kid? Wasn't that Kevin?
That would have been funny. No, they kind of look like. I could see that.
I gotta go do an IMDb search on that. I think that was Kevin Hart.
It might be. Yeah. Yeah.
He's much more street looking than you, brother.
He is. What do you got, Lola? Oh, there it is. There's my Prince Petty. Laughing. Yeah, that was
who that?
A name I got given was Prince Petty because someone told me, "Varian, you're very petty," and I'm like, see, here's the problem. They come with all these buzzwords, petty. I'm not petty. That is my personality. Why can't I believe in revenge? Ticky-tack revenge. What's wrong with ticky-tack revenge? I like flattening somebody's tires. Oh,
that ain't ticky-tack.
Yeah,
that ain't ticky-tack, dude. How do you
ticky-tack? You looked at me wrong. I'm gonna flatten all 4 of your tires.
Oh, dude.
You ordered the last burger.
You gotta only /3. Only /3, 4. Now insurance covers it.
You're right.
Dre going old school.
Yeah, because 4 is like, okay, someone's done this to me.
Vandalism.
3, it's like could be a mistake.
Right.
Okay, all right. I got you. Thanks, Dre. Because my neighbor needs to learn a lesson.
Dre is an insurance agent by day. That's how he knows this.
I want you guys, but yeah, I got so Lola made that or had that made by Jay Foskett. He drew that as that's my Prince Petty character, and he's got his little raccoon hat and a crown on top of that because he's a petty MFer. This folks, I mean, go over there and check this campaign out. You know, it's 50 hours left. 23,121. Now our international listeners will be listening on Indie World Radio. He says he'll ship it anywhere in the world. So let's make him regret that. Let's make him regret that he has to send it to Peru and other places.
If and I know you've given me a lot of time and I appreciate that, but if you scroll down, you'll see the original action figures I made of the villains. And those are available as an add-on. 5 villains for $300, a custom made.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you scroll down, you'll see them. Stop. You just passed them.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see here.
Little bit.
I love those action figures, by the way.
There you go. So they're made like the old Mego action figures of the 70s. Again, I'm a child of the 70s, and I collect Mego action figures, and I actually am one of the most prolific action figure customizers in the world. I've made close to 700 custom Mego action figures in the last about 24, 25 years.
That's wow. That looks really cool.
That video that you showed at the top of the show that I posted, you could see all of my display cases behind me in that video.
Mm-hmm. Those figures are cool. I like them.
Thanks, man.
Oh, be quiet, Lil. She's on the first one. I mean, yeah, if you had to make a Mego figure of me, that it would be about it. There's me and Randy. Look at that.
That first action figure on the left there, I think he's the one that got that rolling cop and a half.
I think my greatest shame in life is that I got kicked off that movie. That's my greatest shame. I was like, oh man,
greatest shame.
Yeah, it's like I've done so many horrible things in life, but that's like the
I was gonna say you flattened 3 tires on a car, and your greatest shame is you didn't make cop and a half.
Yeah, that's that. I've done worse than that. For some reason, cop and a half just sticks in my craw. Like it could have been me. I could have been in that movie. Nobody remembers. Getting 2-cent royalty checks. Folks, that's $23,121 over $2,500 goal, which means that we're gonna make sure that Austin buys dinner when we see him next.
What?
Yeah,
how much these artists are costing me? My God.
That's over on. We had to talk about that, how to budget earlier. You have no excuse. Go over and check out Kickstarter, folks. The link is in the description of this video, and help Austin out. Let's help him get to 25. That 23 is an ugly number. Let's help him get to 25,000.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No problem, sir. Let's look at. Let me see here. What do we got? There we go. Okay. Sorry, my computer wants to run slow today. I don't know why, but spend all this money on building it. Treble. Now, this is from Brutal Planet Comics, and this is from Dre.
Yes, sir.
And Dre,
yes, sir.
Talk to us about Treble. It's probably a video here, but I'm too lazy to look.
So Treble is my brainchild. It is my magnum opus, my Citizen Kane. Pretty much, this is a story I pretty much been writing for. I started writing this while I was in college, and then put it on the back burner for about a decade. And I went back to revisit it because there was an idea that came up in my head that I thought was crazy at first, but then I was like, yo, I'm going for it. And the question was, what would happen if different genres of music gave you different superpowers? And that rolled around in my head for a decade until I finally put it together the right way. So I grew up in Washington, D.C. For those that aren't familiar with the area, it is like a melting pot of different cultures and people. There's black, white, Latinos, Asians, Indians, everybody. So everybody has different foods. Everybody has different music. It's a big old swell pot. And so I was exposed as a kid to all types of different genres of music. I have music performers in my family. So I was exposed to this. And I was like, I wanted to make something that I never had seen before in comics. Which of course everything's been done under the sun that you can possibly think of. But this one I felt extremely unique. I based it partially off of science, mathematics, and emotional responses to music. So I did a group study of people anonymously and fed them different genres of music to see what their feelings were and how they reacted to it. And so, based on those reactions that I got the majority of, I decided to create a power based on whatever it is that they were experiencing. So, a lot of people that I've spoken with are like, hey, when you think of rock, what comes to your mind? And they were like, they think of aggression, they think of anger, they think of power. So, I was like, hey, let's roll with that. And so, based on those different characteristics in which you feel like basically the feelings that you get when you hear music is a transformation that you get. So we follow our hero Zamir Green, which is the Zamir means songbird, and last name Green is a tribute to my mother. It is her maiden name. And we follow his journey. He's a DJ, and there is a nefarious organization that poisons Washington, D.C.'s water supply with a mutagen to try to experiment on them to see exactly what would happen. So a disease is caused by this called the chills, which ironically has the exact same effects as COVID years later. But so whatever. So they end up getting the chills, and it only affects people with O negative blood. So I chose this blood type because in my city it's rare, but it's not super rare. So that I'm able to build my character.
Yeah. O positive.
Go ahead, Barry.
I was yeah, I'd be screwed, but then Lola remind me I'm O positive. So yeah.
Oh, you're O positive. Okay, yeah, you would have just dodged it.
Yeah.
O negative blood. So I'll be able to create my character and be able to create a solid rogues gallery that isn't too out of control. So he ends up coming in contact with the mutagen while he is DJing a party. He starts to absorb all of the sound waves, and which triggers his transformation. So it's kind of like it's a classic hero's journey, but at the same time, it's an action, it's adventure, it's also a musical simultaneously. So it's just a huge tribute to everything that I've worked on for years. And it's one of my greatest loves.
I like that. You know, I've joked about music having an effect on people before, and I used to work at the Paddles of Auburn Hills, and the Pistons used to play, and I used to joke that like, oh man, come on, it's third quarter, the Pistons are winning, you can't be playing this hype music. Because I made a comment one day. I said because and our supervisor, who was a really cool guy, his name was Alon. He said, "Look, guys, our first orientation." He says, "I don't know what it is about drunk white folks and music." He says, "But they'll want to fight everybody in the stadium." And 2 weeks later, the Madness of the Paddles happened. That big fight. If you scroll, if the camera would have moved up, they would have seen this little small dot in a burgundy jacket moving away from the altercation. That's me. I did not help in the breaking up of the fight. I got my ass out of Dodge. That was BS. I'm not taking it. But I will admit that music does have an effect on people. Music make you feel better. Lola likes to listen to depressing music and then be depressed. You know, because I joke about that.
I've had enough today, and I was listening to a lot of Metallica and Saliva and Disturbed
and I'll be honest,
Tech Nine.
Music can get your ass kicked. You go ahead and you listen to enough DMX and go out there and see what happened to your ass. You go out there barking at somebody, see what happened. You get your ass beat.
You know,
repercussions.
Varian, the story I heard about the palace at Auburn Hills, you were running away because you had like outstanding warrants, man.
I couldn't be caught by those Auburn Hills police, man. They
Tell the
don't
truth,
play.
brother. Tell the truth. The truth shall set you free, man.
Man, I ain't mad at you. Get them knees up.
You had that one warrant for slashing those car tires, I heard.
I can't be here.
That
I gotta
shit
get out of
follows
here.
you everywhere, man.
I remember that. I remember though, like music having like even on a crowd, music having an effect. So with the chills now, when they get this illness, because it only affects people with a certain type of blood type. Is there any like anger from some people who didn't get it? Or did they start ostracizing people who did get? What's that? No, that was me.
No, yeah, that was you. No, so the first series, well, this run is going to be 8 issues long, and it's basically going to be focusing primarily on our hero and how he gets one of his best friends becomes the man in the chair, and another one of his friends is the cash that helps back his superhero gig. So it really mostly just focuses on it's a direct protagonist story, pretty much. The next series is going to go into the aftermath and people like you're beating me to the punch. The variant there will.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Like the reason there's going to be people like, how come it wasn't me? All that stuff, because all people see is the power, but not the responsibility.
Right. And the drawbacks from having that power. Yeah.
Exactly. And I made it so that everybody that has it has a negative effect once they have it, except for Zamir. He's the only one that's caught it that didn't have a massive problem, and that's part of the mystery on why didn't he have a completely ugly transformation, like in issue 4 and 5. If you scroll down a little bit, there is a character. Hey, what's up, Pops? If you scroll down there a bit to issues 4 and then issue 5, you'll see a character right there. That's actually my favorite character I wrote in this series, which is a character called Sharkbait, and he is a tribute to the creature of the Black Lagoon, and also kind of a tribute to Savage Dragon. He's my favorite character because he is a troubled man who becomes a monster. And he doesn't want to be what he is, but those people that are supposed to help him are trying to take advantage of him, and then things get completely out of control. And like I feel like I wrote him and I feel for him, it's like it gets to that type. I'm like, man, I want to see him succeed. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm writing you.
I've done that. It's funny, my comic I'm right now, I've done that with a character. I did it with a character who's basically the devil. And I keep writing him sympathetically, and I put too much of myself in there. And the problem is, I'm telling Lily, I'm gonna do this, and she's like, he's the bad guy, right? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, man, I better.
And see, I've always been a villain guy, so I'm like, I always believe that villains is what make your protagonist interesting. A protagonist is a blank slate that anybody that's reading should be able to put themselves into that position.
Right.
And you are so right.
Thank you, Austin, my man.
So right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I called my story after the villains. It's the masters. It's not the superheroes.
Yes,
you're 100% right.
Exactly. I'm a big villain guy because, and like my next series, I'll share with everybody here. The next series, which is going to be down the line, is going to be called Trouble: Rise of the Children, which is going to be named after the virus. And it's gonna be pretty much like what you did, Austin, the villains only type bit. That's pretty much what it's gonna be. It's pretty much the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy of the series. So it's gonna be, this one is the Rhythm Within, which is we get to know our protagonist, get to know his struggle, get to know how his powers work, see him overcome some things, see him take some L's. Rise of the Children, you're gonna see the villains just come and ruin everything. And then the third one's going to be like father, like son, and so it's going to be a heck of an arc. I really think it's a lot of fun, but I really think that the importance of a story is how crappy and how nefarious and how evil your villains are, or are they sympathetic?
Right.
Are they someone that you want to actually get behind? Is it someone you feel sorry for?
Right.
Like your hero, who cares? As long as they're doing heroic things, you're going to be invested in them. But the villain is what makes your hero cool. If your villain is not a real threat or something that you can really see yourself in the midst of, you will not be invested. And that's why I this is one of like issue 4 and 5, I think were my favorites to write because it's all about shark bait and I love him. He's my spirit animal. That he's my guy. So and I wanted to have a lot of brain power invested into this series. So it's not just a punch, kick, shoot a fireball. Like no, you're gonna have to think your way through this because I took a lot of inspiration, like everyone has, over the years from well, in my case, I liked Amazing Spider-Man run, in which pretty much all of his villains are stronger than him, like all of them, but he has to use what's going on up here to overcome, to fix, to save, and all that stuff. It's not just like, oh, I'm stronger than you. No, but here's Rhino. Oh, whoops. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm smarter than you. Oh, wait, Dr. Octopus. Oh, wait, now I gotta figure something else out. Like,
and the first issue is free. You put
yes,
the first issue
we have Trouble Rhythm Within Part 1 is free for digital download. I encourage everybody download for free. I would love to see everybody what they think of it. It's my brainchild. I would love everybody to check it out. And if you want to support me, dope. Like this one on this side, I have print on demand. So you can have it shipped anywhere you want. So if you can have it that way, or if you like signatures and all that stuff, you can get them from me direct.
And because all these books are available right now. You can,
Oh, I'm sorry, say again, Varian.
All these books are available right now.
They're available. They're available right now. Yeah.
In keeping with saying something totally wrong, like I have done the whole show. Do you guys remember? Like I was thinking about the chill, and there was a point when we first started hearing about this is indelicate, but I don't care. When we first started hearing about COVID, there was a point where I remember. If you guys ever ventured on, I know Russell has because I've seen him there. You guys venture onto Black Twitter when the COVID first started. There was a point where we were no black person that got COVID yet, and it was weird because it was like we kind of started thinking like, wait a minute, can we get this? And it was it was tense in my household, multiracial household. It was looking like, I look at my wife like, oh, you coughing? And then our son, I told him, I said, hey man, you rolling the dice, bro. We don't know. I don't know what part of you might get it. Get away from me, bro. Get away from me. But now everybody can get it. So it was rough.
You black folk got the short end of the stick with that sickle cell anemia shit, right?
Yeah.
So why would God curse you with COVID?
Yeah, like why can't
white man's disease?
Yeah, it's like I experiment with my son all the time. Like I tell him invite like one of his friends over. I'm like, make sure it's one with headlights. I want to test the theory. And he's like, what? I'm horrible. I'm horrible parent. Treble here is available. I'm gonna have to pick them up now because is there a trade available, by the way, Dre? Any trades or just
not yet? Not yet. Trades are coming. Trades are coming.
Get to it. Get to it.
Yeah,
I like single issues though. I do like single issues because I can like when I have a trade, I always feel like when I have to close it, I'm like, man, I gotta put a bookmark in. When I got the single issue, I can kind of digest it.
Trades hopefully because I've produced issue number 6 already. Hopefully by the end of this year, the trade is gonna be set and ready. Because a couple of folks like all of us that have been reading for decades, when you want to go and pick up like you want to go back and get Avengers vs. X-Men or Uncanny X-Men, you ain't going to go and get the singles. Like, hey, give me the joint that's this big, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so it's definitely coming down the pipeline. Hopefully by the end of this year, because I plan on producing the last of the issues this year, which is beautiful yet saddening to see it end in a way. But every end is a new beginning. But yeah, hopefully by the end of the year we will have a full trade back, and it's gonna be glorious.
That is Trouble over at Spinwheels Comics. The description of the link to this video is in the description of the video. I always say that backward, but go check out the description of the video and you can find links to go pick up Trouble and make sure that Dre has a Dre day.
Hey.
Buys his book.
Take my money, Dre.
It looks really cool, Dre. I like the concept too. I like that.
I totally dig it, dude. You got me.
Now,
thank you, Austin, my man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we have one that's coming soon. This is the Unbeloved Chapter 2, Ashes of, I cannot pronounce that. You're gonna do it for me, sir.
Yes, Ashes of Homusubi.
Okay.
Basically, so with our story, and I'll explain the title as I explain the story as well. So first 2 issues are already out. Chapter 0 and Chapter 1. I've got it backwards. Chapter 0 and Chapter 1. Basically, it's following the deities Izanagi and Izanami. They were tasked with one mission: to maintain order and structure in the shapeless chaos that is the world. So what they're doing is facing off against a variety of yokai and evil spirits and stuff, if you would. If you're in anime and you like your demon slayers and stuff like that, that's up here. It's along those lines. In Chapter 0, and I'm not going to give too many, I'm not going to spoil or anything like that, but in Chapter 0, we get to see the beginning of that journey, right? As they're taking on all of these historic Japanese beings and monsters, right? You know, the evil spider lady, the giant titan, right? But it's the skeletal form instead, all of these different various monsters and whatnot. Orochi, not how like Naruto portrayed him as Orochimaru or what have you, but the actual monster Orochi. But then when we fast forward in Chapter 1, and it's the very first page, it's modern day and everything's destroyed. What's happened? You get to see the transition in Chapter 0, the mission given, what they did, how it fell apart, and how does humanity pick up the pieces. And so that's what you're getting in that initial one. But as you can see at the beginning of here, or at least this cover here, the monsters are running rampant. What does everyday people do, and who's going to come and save them? And so that's what we're picking up with there. And the Ashes of Homusubi is basically another name for Kagutsuchi, one of their children. So what did he leave behind? What is the ramification of his existence that caused these demons to come about? So that's what you get to look forward to in this series here.
I see yokai up there. Now, yokai means, is that monster? Or is it...
Yeah, demons, monsters, various evil spirits and whatnot. Yes.
And, you know, when I was younger, and I'm pretty sure, great, everybody's been this way. When I was younger, I used to watch a lot of anime, read a lot of manga. And I loved it when it was an FYE. I would go in there, which FYE, if you guys don't know, stands for fuck you expensive. And I'd go in there, and it was like 4 shelves in the back. You felt like you were buying porn. You know, you're looking through the tapes. You know, it was. You see, Dre knows. You wouldn't let anybody see you buy it because they were like, "You buying that anime stuff?" Ew. And I remember getting really upset when manga started coming on, or anime started coming on Saturday mornings. Like, you had Cartoon Network and Toonami that did a good job, but the Fox started bringing everything over, and not everything was quality.
Right.
But it's really funny about the yokai stuff because they had some yokai stuff on clearance at like Walmart. Yokai Watch.
Yeah, no, it ain't like that. Nah.
I just bought it for my kid. At the time, he was like 6 or 7. I'm like, here, take this stuff. You know, stay away from me. You know, play with this. And he played with it, but he didn't. He had the DVDs. He didn't watch it. Well, he recently started watching. Hey, son. He recently started watching it, and now he's in love with it. And he comes to me, he's like, and they put which is very smart of them, very smart of the anime. In one of the DVDs, they put a little small manga in there. And so he read that, and he comes to me holding the book. Can you get me more of these? And I'm like, bro, I don't know where that Yokai Watch has been off the air for years now, I think. I mean, what do you... we can go to Second and Charles and pick up the... secondhand books, but I can't, or we can go to Amazon. And he's like, oh man. So I did find him one, but he loves yokai now. And I seen a book called Yokai Girls, which is pretty funny. But I do like that whole yokai title, and you didn't put it, you didn't do it, you didn't put it in here, so now you got to do it. Now you got to add yokai so that I can make my son like it. Totally freak his mind out. And you both said no, there's nothing like that. This is much more.
It's definitely grittier than those. Because again, for like sake of good conversation, right? So bringing up Naruto again, right? They have a portrayal of Orochi in the form of Orochimaru, and he's very tame, right? But like the legend of Orochimaru, this big 7-headed dragon serpent, if you would, that was terrorizing the land. It was basically stealing this one dude's daughters every year, right? And it's like, we need help from in lore. Susanoo, we need your help to save our daughters and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. But that's the version that we have, this menacing, just evil looming, doom is near version of these entities. And again, still going in that same vein, Izanagi and Izanami, you hear these names, but they're only watered down to abilities, right? And you'll hear me say Naruto a lot because they pulled very heavily from Shinto, but again, dumbed down not necessarily dumbed down, but they utilized them in a way that they only were techniques, right? They were Sharingan Eye Dojutsu, right? Instead of the actual deity of these characters. And we wanted to go ahead and interpret them and see what it would be like if they existed in our real world and what are the effects of their existence and their mission.
Now, is there a way for me to pick up the other chapters, 0 and 1, when you launch this?
Yeah. So even prior to, it's on midnightcomics.org. Okay. We have that both issues on there. We have free previews on there as well. Give you a couple pages to kind of dig into. And then of course we have our other titles, Tales from Midnight on there as well.
Cool. Now this is the Kickstarter, and you can be notified on launch. What day are you thinking about launching this?
The 20th, January 20th, we'll be launching.
Okay. All right. We'll make sure we get in touch, and we've been doing a lot of launch parties. We'll watch as it goes live on the 20th of I almost said March, but that's because I am horrible and only think about myself because my birthday. But 20th of January, we'll take a look at this and see how you're doing. We'll definitely get you back on. I'm pretty sure you're booked for a lot of shows that day.
We one other one.
Okay.
But that's on the 17th. So no, not that day. No.
We'll try to get you on the 20th. We'll try to see what we can do to see if
that would be awesome.
I'll hit you up.
Yeah, Lolo schedule it. The Unbeloved, Chapter 2, Ashes of Homosubi. Did I say that right?
Homosubi.
And I like how it says Lloyd. That's all. Natasha, so, you better tell them.
So this story in particular is just me.
Yeah, I have no hands in this story.
Yes.
I don't touch it. The only thing I do is edit.
Yeah.
Everything else I'm involved in, but not this.
Yeah. Our other story, Tales from Midnight, she has a hand in that one.
Hold on. Maybe Lola make that sports video.
Nice.
There we go. A little wrap around there.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, this one has 4 different stories in it that me and my wife worked on. Me and Natasha worked on together.
That's cool.
You know,
I like
that. It's very interesting to hear
convinced.
contrasting styles. I'm sorry, Varian. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Right? Oh no, I was just saying there. You said Midnight Comics. Is that Midnight Comics? .org.
.org. That's correct.
I'm sure I think that's in the description. We'll make sure it is. Go pick those books up, and then make sure that you sign up to get notified when this launches. And you can see. I was gonna say you can see.
I already did.
You can see these. You can see these. You can see manga done right. I'm gonna say it. Uh-oh. I'm gonna get Lloyd in trouble. Manga done right by Lloyd.
Don't get me in too much trouble now.
No, I won't. This looks cool. I love that art. By the way, who's the artist on
that? We met a gentleman off of Fiverr actually, by the name of Pan. We met him in 2019 when we was first getting into this space. And he's been a joy to work with ever since. What we're going to be doing from there on is working with local artists outside of this story to kind of bring these other projects to life. But yeah, again, to answer the question, a gentleman by the name of Pan has been working with us since 2019 into now with this story.
That looks really good. Yeah, go over check it out, folks. The link to this and to midnightcomics.org is in the description of the video. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go pick up a 0 and 1 so I know what the hell is going on, because I'll start from 2 and then have my own head canon of what happened before. Doesn't match up. I get mad. I was telling someone, I was listening to someone, they were telling me a story. They said that a person came to them at a show, and I'm pretty sure we'd all be like, what the hell did you just say to me? A person said, hey, I like your book. And they're talking about it, and the guy had like 15 issues out, you know, and this person had read their books. And they said, yeah, you know, if you would have had your way, I forget the names of the characters, you would have killed this character. I'm glad the fan said no, and he looked at them. He says, what do you mean? They're my characters. I can kill them if I want to. What do you mean if I had my way? I do have my way. And it was weird how the fans take ownership of these characters and will tell you, you know, yeah, Dre, if you would have had your way, you would have killed Trapper. It's like, what? Yes, it's my. What are you talking about? Would have had my way?
I'm lighting it, darn it.
Yeah. Hell panel says why the hell. Now we're going to look at the work of Mr. Nohelty, which is the Make 100. Look at that dragon. Yikes.
Damn.
Jesus.
That is a very good pictured version of my marriage. I'm the dragon, and there's Lola standing there unfazed by any of my breaths and, you know, hot ass breath. Russell, walk us through this. Walk us through the campaign. What's going on with the Make 100?
All right, so this is a novel series that I wrote. I do write novels as well as comics. Although I do have something I could reveal to you guys a little bit later if you guys want like the literal first like look at the next comic that I have that's coming out.
Sure.
Okay, so I found this cover a long time ago from my favorite cover designer, and I kept saying, why is that girl just looking at that dragon and not caring? If you scroll down, you can see the whole image because that's the cover of the first book. And I just had to tell this story. But like, I've read a million dragon stories, and I didn't know how to have a new way into it. But I finally realized that what I wanted to do was tell a story from the perspective of a dragon sacrifice. I literally never read hundreds of books about dragons. I never read a book that was from the point of view of someone who's being sacrificed to a dragon. So the series follows her on her last day of life through the town that is going to sacrifice her like she's cattle. And then through her journey up to the cavern where the dragon lives. But that's only the first 15,000 words, so the first like 30, 50 pages or so. And then the rest of the book, basically the entire world changes. And she is responsible for basically changing the whole world. And the thing that I like to tell in my stories in the books, whether it's comics or novels, is sort of ordinary people or people who are cast off from society who end up becoming heroes and becoming maybe like the most important person in the world. And Gilda, the lead of this story, definitely does that over the 3 books for this campaign. So this is
sorry about that. My microphone dropped out.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
yeah, that's interesting to tell the story from the perspective of the person like basically headed to death row in a way.
Absolutely. And what I really love is throughout is this idea that everyone has cast her off, not just cast her off, but like they're willing to kill her to save themselves. And then throughout the course of the story, she comes back to the village and they have to kind of deal with the ramifications of what to do now that this person who's just living among them is someone that they were willing to murder. So very much in the same vein of what you were talking about.
That's a pretty haunting picture, too. It's cool.
So that is so my cover artist gave me the virgin cover to use as a print. So if you back at either the $24 or the $75 or above level, you'll get this 5x7 print of this image, which she let me use for this one time, which is the wraparound of the book,
That's absolutely gorgeous, Russell.
It is.
I just can't believe how amazing this cover these covers are for this series. I love all of my covers, but these ones are really something special. So this is book 2 here, which is
That's awesome.
Then
You know what reminds me of Frazetta?
yeah, that does have a Frazzettian quality to it. I think
It definitely does. Definitely does. You put that on a death metal record right now.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, baby. Speaking of treble, turn up the treble.
I'm gonna have to slide that in one time.
You better believe. You know. In a previous life, I used to manage a death metal band.
That sounds about right.
Yep. Chicago death metal, baby.
So I know this is a comics podcast, so I just in the private chat dropped a link to something that if you like my work at all or any of the things that I've ever done, like hopefully will blow your mind, because it is the link to the new Kickstarter that's coming for the final Cthulhu is Hard to Spell books.
I can show it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me do one thing. This particular book, the link is in the description of this video. And folks, you've got 4 days left to go over there. This is prose. We had a young lady on yesterday, author, 8 years old, put out her first book, 100 pages. Very proud of her. She did a lot of good work. There's Anushka, and very talented lady, Magic Mirror book that she did. Go check that video out as a special. But we do like our prose writers here on Indie Vote as well. I mean,
I love prose. So I've written about 35. I've written 37 novels now. So I've actually done a whole lot more prose work than I have comics. And this series is pretty much self-contained. There is another series that I'm working on now that takes place in the same universe. But if you get these 3 books, you'll pretty much get the whole series. And there's dragons and magic and romance and war and battles and dragons ripping people in half.
See, my kid's weird, man. I've tried to, like the little girl we had on. She's read 1,000 books this year since COVID. She read 1,000 books. She's such a goal. She reads 500 novels a year. But last year she read 1,000. She's only 8. Well, she's 9 now. I think she's 9. But she's like, she's so young, and I'm like, I can't get if it's not manga or dog, man, I can't get my kid to read the back of a damn cereal box. But there she is reading, I felt so. I started looking at my kid and looking at him like, you suck.
Well, 25% of people have no imagination. Like literally, they can't imagine things, and that makes books very hard for people like that. So that's why comics are much better for people that are like that. So maybe your kid just. It seems so mean to say like he has no imagination, but I mean like they have problems picturing what's on a page in their mind.
I'll be honest with you guys.
It's literally a medical condition.
Yeah. My kid can't lie for shit. I'm sad because he telling me, I see right through that. Why wouldn't you? You ever get mad? The lie is so stupid you get mad about it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you can think of a better lie than that. You can think of it like. I started telling them, like, man, the planes run slow.
I am ashamed at your lie.
Yeah. I'm telling them, I told them, I keep saying, man, the planes come in real slow at Caden International. They do. Make 100 over on Kickstarter. Link is in there. But I do want to bring up as well, Russell sent me a link to his.
So I'm only sharing this because this is my most popular series, and people have been asking me for this since 2020. So this is the 3rd and final Cthulhu is Hard to Spell anthology series. We have stories from Trina Robbins, David Pepose, Christian Gossett, and a whole bunch more. So this is 180 pages of Lovecraftian goodness. We have a theme song. We have a wrestling story. So y'all were talking about wrestling stories. I wrote a 12-page wrestling story where the Lovecraftian gods fight Zeus and mythological gods like Anubis. And it's coming in February 22nd. You can go to CthulhuIsHardToSpell.com and download a 40-page preview of this volume. I have not even announced this anywhere yet with the link or how to follow it or how to get notified at launch. But it's coming next month, the end of next month, and we're very, 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 very excited about it, especially because for the first time, the cover, which is you can see Cthulhu jumping off a pylon onto Zeus, actually relates to one of the stories inside the book.
So that's Cthulhu is hard to spell. You know, Cthulhu's everywhere. It's hard to spell. He's invading
You should have named
us.
the website. This website is hard to spell.com. Because nobody can spell Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Well, ironically, Lovecraft never settled on a pronunciation or a spelling of Cthulhu in his life. So technically, the joke is all spellings of Cthulhu are right. So it's very easy to spell because you can spell it however the hell you want it.
It's spelled exactly
Kind of like Mr. Mixelplick in the Superman world.
Oh
right?
my God,
Yes.
Austin, stop reading my mind. Stop
Right?
reading my mind.
Yeah.
That's
Ray,
exactly what
you
came
and
to my
I,
head.
you and I are right here, brother. Right here. Right here.
So we do
You all you guys are going to get rich off my money in the next couple of weeks, man. I just hope you remember me.
So
All
the
three
easiest
of
way to
y'all.
remember Cthulhu is usually you forget the second H. So it's CTHULHU. So, and the second H is for horror. That's how you remember Cthulhu, spelling it the correct
I've
way.
already forgotten what you just said.
It's okay because I've edited now 3 of these anthologies. The name of Cthulhu was in the title, and still, even in the third anthology, the most misspelled word is Cthulhu. Still, now
That is hilarious.
it's on their contracts, it's on the PDFs, it's everywhere, and people still can't spell it even after I've launched the first one in 2018. So I've been working on it since 2017. So that's like 5 years, and people still can't spell it to my face.
Question for you.
I'm going to give you a free idea, Russell. You ought to have Cthulhu with like one of those big ass gold chains with Cthulhu on it, right? Like I see these guys walking around my neighborhood, a big gold chain says Jesus or something, right?
Nice.
And we used to always laugh at people like that and say, oh, they must have forgot their name. This way they know who they are. Hey, I'm Jesus.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
It's
Cthulhu.
actually a very funny option.
That does sound very meta.
That's free,
that.
bro. That's free.
I like that.
2018. You say you've been doing this. I have a question for you because I was talking to someone else. A couple different, Cthulhu books. Do you ever feel like a sense of? I know like Cthulhu is like now he's a public domain character in a way. But like, do you ever feel like a sense of ownership or ownership toward your version of Cthulhu?
Not so much, especially because people that make those books, many of them were from this book. So you mentioned Cthulhu Invades Oz.
Mm-hmm.
He started doing that book after he was in Cthulhu is Hard to Spell and
Okay.
talked to me about it. And he's not the only one who's done that. But
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty of Cthulhu and the Lovecraft mythos is that it's been remixed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times by hundreds of people. So there really is even very little of Lovecraft's original in what you would consider Cthulhu now. So I think that I'm just spreading that same like remix energy, and the Cthulhu that you've seen in the 3 covers. If you scroll down, you can kind of see like the silly Lovecraftian god that like I have used as like that's book 2, that's book 1. You can kind of see like it's kind of this like cute chibi character, and he's nothing like the god because I had a story in Cthulhu Invades Oz. And I have one in the upcoming Cthulhu Invades Wonderland. And like the tone of that book is way different than this one. That's
Right.
Trina Robbins' story that she did. You can just see if you scroll through all of the different like kind of weird different art styles. So it really is like cute to scary. That's the theme song if you want to play the theme song.
Let me see. Where's it? Oh, it's funny too. I read. I looked at a Lovecraft documentary, and they're talking about Cthulhu, and they showed him out of the water. Like all you usually see is his head. And when he comes out the water, he's this big, massive creature. And a couple of days ago, I seen someone did the same. They did a picture of Loch Ness monster out of the water, and how freaky it would look. It was like, oh crap! It was I wouldn't want to see that. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I said, werewolf tormentor.
Now, some will do things poorly, and some will do things well, but everybody still can agree that Cthulhu is hard to spell. The monster chased me off the porch and down the back stairwell. I broke my brain when I tried to explain Cthulhu is hard to spell. As the beast approached me, I began to scream and yell. But when asked to write what I saw that night, Cthulhu was hard to spell. It grabbed me by the short hairs, threw me around like a carousel. But still I fought whole while we fought. Cthulhu was hard to spell. Yes, I fear I might never be all right, but Cthulhu is hard to spell.
That's it. It just plays the instrumental here on it.
I love me
Very
a good
nice.
gimmick.
So we have
that
that.
is cool.
We have a pin
I'm
that
down
is
with
a
OPP.
championship belt.
That's cool. That's pretty. Did you Is that the first time anyone's heard that?
Outside of the team that made it, so Timothy Fling, Sterling Jackson, the editor and the creators, heard it before this, but that's the very first time anyone's heard this.
I gotta get like DJ Clue. DJ Clue somehow exclusive. Back from the day, I gotta get one of those. You heard it here first.
Do you have a wrestling championship belt for Cthulhu?
I do. If you go down, you can see the special pin that we have. We don't have the belt because it was way too expensive to make that. But if you scroll down, you can see the pin that we have of the campaign. It's considerably further down this page, but
Because a championship belt where his face is the belt, you know,
Right
oh
there.
my God.
That's it.
So,
Austin's on fire, yo.
that's a 2-inch pin that we're gonna do for that. I wanted to do a belt buckle. Those things were they were like hundreds of dollars to make anything, and but we do have the pin, and you can get. So the one next to it is the pin from the second campaign, and it has both elder signs on it. I asked Aaron Alexovich, who does our covers, to do both elder signs, and you can see them, so it's double the protection.
That's cool.
And those are all the pins you can get that we've made over the past years.
And so this hasn't launched yet, so we're getting a sneak peek at it. But
yeah, you can go to CthulhuIsHardToSpell.com, get on our mailing list, and get a 40-page preview. I've literally not shared this with anyone else, even the team. No, I sent one email to the team. Aside from the team, no one knows about this except for you
That's
guys
for us
now.
except for everybody watching right now.
Yes.
Go check out Cthulhu's Hard Spell. Make sure you go to the website and sign up for that mailing list. Guys, we've reached the end of our show. We actually ran a little bit over, so I'm going to let everyone tell where
I'm
they
not
can
ready
be
to
found.
go.
Yeah.
I'm having
Lloyd,
fun with my new friends.
we'll always be here, and everybody, of course, is welcome to that whenever they like. Natasha and Lloyd, where can you guys be found online so our listeners can stalk you?
Yeah. So first off, of course, midnightcomics.org for a website. Sign up for the mailing list there. Midnight X Comics on Instagram. Midnight Comics on Twitter. And Midnight Comics on Facebook.
Cool. Mr. Russell, I mean, we see it there at russellnohelty.com, but anywhere else?
Yeah. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook. Don't find me on Instagram. That is only for talking to my tattoo artist. I will not follow you back or look at anything else. And then go to my website and it will redirect right to my campaign.
Very good. And that's tattoo artist. We'll talk about that later. Austin, how about you, sir?
Yeah.
Where can we find you? Where can we stalk you at?
Power Comics Inc. on Facebook and Instagram. My first name followed by my last name, Austin Hough at Twitter. The Masters on Kickstarter. And look me up in the 312.
We'll come to Chicago. We'll do it. Believe me.
Hey, baby.
Dre, how about you, sir?
Mi casa, su casa.
Great. I'm never buying a hotel in Chicago again, ever. That's it.
That was Rosemont. That's not Chicago. It's different.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I mean, C2E2. I don't know. A hotel. I'll stay with Austin. Dre, how about you, sir?
So first of all, really thank you for you all having me. It's been really awesome. I really love doing these, and you guys are awesome, Varian and the Indie Princess. You guys are the best. So you can follow me on all my social media platforms. Make it simple. It's at TheBrute00 on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can check out the Brutal Planet Comics like page on Facebook at BP Comics 1. That's Bravo Papa Comics 1. And you can check me out on YouTube at Brutal Planet Comics. You can always reach me there, chit chat, and check out videos and yell and scream at me. So anytime.
Also, one thing that we want to tell everyone too, when you're getting these books from people.
Yes, of course. Everywhere on my links, every Instagram at TheBrute00, there's always a link straight to SpinWiz Comics, or you can download the SpinWiz app. Just type in Trouble, and you can download a free digital copy of issue number 1 Or if you like the paperbacks, you can order those as well. It's print on demand. Or if you like them signed, just hit me up on any of those social media platforms, and I'll send you a signed copy.
And when he sends you those signed copies, make sure you berate him if he does not use Gemini mailers. Which, you know, our friends over at Gemini Mailer, Gemini's Comic Supply, since there's a code, VOLT10, VOLT10, they 10% on your Gemini mailers when if you're, you have to buy them because you got to ship your comics anyway, right? VOLT10, VOLT10 is the code. Save yourself 10% on those Gemini mailers. Also, Liberty Entertainment Distribution, LEDG.us, distributing indie comics for everyone, getting them in the stores, mom and pop stores, comic shops, all that good stuff. Some other places you might not expect to see comics too. Liberty Entertainment Distribution, a good company. I don't know I own it. After that, Lola, how about you, ma'am?
Well, I got two things to share first.
Oh no, it's horrible.
Well,
The
you
worst
will
news I've
let
heard
me
all day,
share.
and I've heard a lot of bad news though.
Huh?
I said you sharing stuff. That's the worst news I've heard all day, and I've had a lot of bad news. So.
Here's the first one.
Oh no, even worse.
It is a new thing we're doing for Indie Vault Radio, guys. If you got a current campaign or upcoming campaign for $25 a month, you can get advertised on the radio, which is global. So you can email me at music@indievault.com and someone will get back to you about it.
All right, cool. And then what else you have to share?
And we're doing a launch party. It is our first launch party. So get with us on Friday at 11 a.m. and we will be helping launch Brink and Fetch.
That's Trish and Mike Bingson's.
I like that pink hair.
Yeah,
that was good.
Nice.
Cool. Lola, where can you be found at, man?
There you go. Linktree, indie_princess, and there's also a link to my Amazon wishlist.
Trying to get stuff. Everybody find me, KYD_V on Twitter. Make sure that you drop by there. Check out my website, whenweriot.com. Make sure you go check out lastcallcomics.com as well. And then if you see me on the Meet Me app or the what's the other one? I almost said Grindr. I wouldn't be on there. If you see me on Grindr, don't say anything. That's not me. You message me. Screenshot and send it so I can get it taken down. I swear to God.
We're going in a direction I did not even think we were going in.
Hey, I will go there. I will say all types of irresponsible
Look at
things.
the time.
You put a mic in front of my face, I just say stuff just to get a
My God.
reaction.
There will be a Geekgasm tomorrow. If you guys
Geekgasm
want to
tomorrow,
tune
9
in.
o'clock, 9 p.m. Lola show.
Come join me for a
in the last
Geekgasm.
2 hours.
I've been kicked off of Geekgasm officially now. Like I've been kicked off. Like I don't appear on that show. I don't know if you guys know this. I've been laying. My illness flared up today, so I've been laying on the sofa. Lola's been controlling the show. So special shout out to Lola. Thank you for running the show. Thank you, appreciate it, ma'am. I'm gonna take us out of here. You guys can hang out if you want. I'm gonna take us out of here. Thank you everybody for watching. Remember, try to leave this industry a better place than you found it, and be good to each other. I will see you all later. Have a good day and better weekend, a better week. I'll see you guys back here Thursday morning at 9 a.m. for Indie Vote Breakfast Buzz. See you then, folks.
Appreciate you guys.
How can he close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.